the season of autumn in Boston is fleeting. As the chill of an October afternoon swept through the air, sending leaves swirling from the trees lining the street, Emily Watson, a dedicated nurse at Central Hospital, was nearing the end of her arduous night shift. Having reviewed her patients' charts one final time and passed the baton to the nurse on the next shift, she made her way to the locker room. It was yet another challenging day, Emily, Jennifer, a senior nurse, remarked. "What are your thoughts for the weekend ahead? Sharing moments with loved ones?" Emily offered a gentle smile and shook her head, a subtle gesture that spoke volumes. "My mother and sister are embarking on a shopping adventure in New York tomorrow. At home, I find myself engaged in a fierce struggle against an imposing mountain of laundry." "You always seem to take on all the housework," Jennifer remarked, her eyes filled with understanding. "Have you ever considered setting aside some time just for you?" "Everything is okay." It was something she had grown accustomed to, Emily shrugged. Though unspoken, the act of nurturing her family had woven itself into the fabric of her daily life. Within the walls of the Watson household, it was an unspoken truth that Emily would bear the brunt of the chores. Emily stepped out of the hospital, making her way back to the solitude of her empty flat building. Her flat, though modest, was meticulously maintained. The refrigerator displayed a collection of postcards from her father, each secured by colorful magnets. The cities of London, Paris, and Rome, each a chapter in the story of his work travels. Thomas Watson held a prominent position at a major trading company, embarking on journeys abroad with regularity. He possessed a serene and logical demeanor, yet he had always viewed Emily as extraordinary. When Emily chose to pursue a career in nursing, he stood as the sole supporter of his daughter's choice. As the phone rang, Emily rushed to pick it up. It was her mother, Martha, who stood there, a figure of familiarity and warmth. "Emily, do you recall the dinner gathering we have planned for tomorrow? Kate's friend, who has a flair for design, is arriving, so make sure to return by 6. "Indeed, it lingers in my mind." "Did you complete the shopping?" "Oh, well," Martha remarked with a hint of discomfort. "Tomorrow afternoon, Kate and I have made plans to explore the vibrant shops of New York City. We shall return by evening, but would you be so kind as to handle the shopping and the preparations for dinner?" Emily held back a sigh. "Understood. I've stepped away for a while, so everything is all right." "Thank you, as always, Emily," Martha remarked on your unwavering reliability. As a nurse with your independence, these challenges pose no difficulty for you. As Kate forges her path in her career, the importance of networking looms large for her. Once the call ended, Emily collapsed onto the sofa. Her sister Kate pursued a career as a freelance interior designer. With her remarkable talents, captivating charm, and engaging sociability, Kate held a special place in her parents' hearts. Her mother, especially, displayed a keen enthusiasm for her daughter's achievements in social circles. Emily's cell phone chimed, breaking the silence of the room. As she gazed at the screen, a familiar sight caught her attention. A video call from her father awaited her response. "Emily, how have you been?" Thomas's visage emerged on the display. It appeared that he was reaching out from the confines of a hotel room. "I'm okay, Dad." "In what place do you find yourself at this moment?" "Once upon a time, in the enchanting city of Paris." As Thomas prepared for his flight to Brussels tomorrow, a hint of fatigue crossed his face, yet he managed to smile. "A new chapter has begun. It appears that I am embarking on a lengthy journey across Europe." "What is the duration?" With a furrowed brow, Emily inquired, her voice laced with concern. "It has been approximately 3 months, I would estimate," Thomas remarked with a hint of regret. "I regret to inform you that I won't be able to return in time for your birthday celebration." "There's no need for concern. Is work a challenge?" "Indeed, I will certainly reach out to you," as Thomas's demeanor shifted to one of gravity. "Emily, please reach out to me immediately if anything occurs." "Any moment works perfectly." Emily smiled in understanding. The warmth of her father's kindness enveloped her heart. "And do take care of Martha and Kate as well. They'd be lost without you," Thomas remarked with a playful tone, yet his words carried a deeper significance. "Absolutely." In her usual manner, Emily responded with a touch of levity. In the week that followed, Thomas set off on his journey to Europe. Emily slipped back into her hectic schedule, navigating the ebb and flow of night and day shifts. At home, the never-ending tasks of housework for her mother and sister perpetually loomed over her. She was often overlooked, her contributions seldom recognized. Then arrived the moment of destiny. As the chill of a damp November evening enveloped the world outside, Emily stepped out of the hospital, her night shift finally at an end. With her weary body navigating the intersection, a massive truck that ought to have halted at the red light came barreling towards her, skidding dangerously close. From the moment of impact, shadows enveloped the surroundings. Emily's awareness flickered in and out. It was as if one were submerged beneath the surface, enveloped in a world of fluid silence. Amidst the flurry of activity, a symphony of voices echoed from afar, weaving a tapestry of sound around her. The atmosphere in the emergency room at Central Hospital was thick with tension. The medical team united in their efforts, determined to save their colleague, Emily Watson. It is indeed Watson. As she made her way home after the night shift, Dr. Martin, the chief of the emergency department, called out in surprise upon spotting her. "Reach out to her family." Within the confines of Emily's personal file, the phone number of her mother, Martha, emerged as the designated emergency contact. A young nurse, her hands trembling, dialed the number. The world outside remained shrouded in the deep shadows of pre-dawn darkness. "Greetings, Mrs. Watson. Welcome to the emergency department at Central Hospital. Emily, your daughter, has been involved in a traffic accident." Martha responded from the other end, her voice heavy with sleep. "Is that you, Emily? What transpired?" "Her situation is dire. Please make your way to the hospital as soon as possible." Following a brief pause, a surprising response emerged. "At this moment, I find myself taking a stroll with my sister's dog, which means I am unable to engage. It seems I might be able to arrive in the afternoon." The young nurse, her brow furrowed in confusion, leaned in closer and repeated her question, seeking clarity in the unexpected revelation. "Ma'am, your daughter is facing a perilous situation. She carries the weight of multiple traumas and is losing blood. Would you be able to come immediately?" "I mentioned before, I'm unable to do that at this moment." Martha's voice was laced with irritation. Kate's poodle follows a meticulously crafted routine. In addition, Kate and I have made arrangements to head to New York this afternoon. The conversation came to a close. The young nurse stood in stunned silence. She conveyed the circumstances to Dr. Martin. The doctor's brow furrowed, yet the focus remained on the patient in need of care. "We can attempt to reach out once more at a later time. At this moment, our priority must be to ensure her survival." Emily found herself in the emergency operating room, a place where urgency and hope intertwined in a delicate dance. With internal ruptures and multiple fractures, the head trauma weighed heavily on her. Each passing moment saw her condition slipping further away. The operation unfolded over a span of 6 hours. When it finally came to a close, the clock had already struck noon. Dr. Martin reached out to Martha once more. On this occasion, he conveyed the circumstances with a serious demeanor. "Mrs. Watson, your daughter's situation is profoundly serious. She is facing a challenging situation with several fractures, internal injuries, and swelling in the brain. I urge you to arrive at your earliest convenience." Martha responded with a terse acknowledgement. Yet, silence lingered in the air, with no reply to be found. Emily found herself in the ICU. Her bed was encircled solely by machines and 4 stands. Amidst the silence, the absence of family was palpable. In a poignant display of camaraderie, Her fellow nurses gathered around her bedside, taking turns to hold her hand with unwavering support. "Emily, are you listening to me?" "We stand by your side," Jennifer murmured softly into her ear. "Please wait a moment. This challenge is one you can surely conquer." As the shadows lengthened and the stars began to twinkle, the absence of Martha and Kate lingered in the air. A suggestion arose to reach out to Thomas in Europe. However, his number was absent from the emergency contacts that Martha had registered. At the scene of the accident, Emily's cell phone lay in pieces, much like her bag, both casualties of the chaotic moment. On the afternoon of the second day, Martha and Kate made their long-awaited appearance at the hospital. The two strolled through the corridor, their designer brand shopping bags in hand, their expressions clouded with dissatisfaction over the ICU's visiting restrictions. "Just 15 minutes? Surely, this is a jest." After our long journey from New York, Kate expressed her frustration to the nurse. Martha and Kate donned their protective clothing, following the guidance to Emily's bedside, with Jennifer by their side. Emily lay there, tethered to a ventilator, her face a canvas of swelling and deep purple bruises. Her form lay enveloped in a web of medical apparatus, each device connected at different intervals. "Oh, what a challenging little one," Martha sighed. She lingered at the edge of the bed, refraining from reaching out to Emily. "Keep this between us, and don't mention it to your father. It will merely cause him concern." Martha spoke with a chill in her voice. "Honey, get better soon. Our focus is elsewhere, and we cannot attend to your needs at this moment." Kate glanced at her phone screen and remarked, "Let's head back soon, Mom. It seems we might not arrive on time for our dinner with Jeff." In less than a quarter of an hour, the two departed from the room. Jennifer, her body quaking with fury yet maintaining a facade of composure, pressed on in her care for Emily. As Emily's awareness began to slip away, she caught snippets of the dialogue between her mother and sister. Her heart stilled, not from the ache, but from the chilling truth that enveloped her. Amidst the unfolding events, a question began to take shape in her mind. Why had her father not reached out to her? Had he been aware of the circumstances, he would undoubtedly rush to our side. As the third and fourth days unfolded, time continued its relentless march. Emily's state varied. Her colleagues remained steadfast in their support, keeping vigil by her side during breaks between shifts. Martha and Kate vanished without a trace, never to return. As the sun dipped below the horizon on the fifth day, a flicker of awareness stirred within Emily. With a voice strained and filled with longing, she called out, "Papa." Jennifer, present in the room, clutched her hand with intensity. "Once upon a time, there was a girl named Emily. Do you hear my voice? Shift your finger." With a subtle motion, Emily shifted her finger ever so slightly. It brought tears to Jennifer's eyes. Thank goodness, Jennifer softly pressed her lips to her forehead. "We are attempting to reach out to your father. However, he is currently abroad." Emily gently shut her eyes once more. Yet, her mind was slowly awakening once more. She endeavored to grasp the situation through the disjointed snippets of conversation that reached her ears. What could have caused the absence of communication from her father? What could have led her mother and sister to keep him in the dark? On the seventh day, a remarkable shift occurred as Emily's condition started to stabilize. She found moments of breath without the ventilator, and her awareness sharpened. The doctors marveled at her unwavering strength. Dr. Martin expressed his delight at her recovery, remarking on the resilience of nurses. "Emily, your journey to recovery is nothing short of miraculous." Emily approached Jennifer, seeking a paper and pen for her task. With a trembling hand, she inscribed a single question. "Reach out to Dad." Jennifer wore a look of concern. "Your mother advised us to conceal it from your father, yet it seems only right that we reach out to him. Could you share his contact information with me?" With a faint nod, Emily attempted to inscribe a number onto a fresh sheet of paper. Yet, her body remained frail, causing the pen to fall from her grasp. Instead, she penned, Father's enterprise. Jennifer acknowledged with a thoughtful nod. Indeed, I understand. Thomas Watson held the esteemed position of European branch manager at Global Trading Company. I will make an effort to locate him. With a gentle grip, Emily held onto Jennifer's hand, a silent expression of her appreciation flowing between them. Within her thoughts, her mother's voice echoed, urging her, "Don't tell your father." What was it that held her mother back from telling her father? A hidden reason must lie beneath the surface. In that moment, Emily chose her path. It was her entitlement to be informed. Her father deserved to uncover the reality. As she struggled against her frail form, a plan began to take shape in her mind. As dawn broke on the 8th day following the accident, the sky over Boston was shrouded in heavy, gray clouds. A sleek luxury SUV glided into the parking lot of Central Hospital, and from it emerged Martha and Kate. The two made their way to the hospital entrance, their faces reflecting the weariness from the previous night's festivities. Martha urged, "Let's wrap this up swiftly. It is essential that we arrive at our spa appointment this afternoon." What is it about Emily that leads to constant issues? With a heavy sigh, Kate let her thoughts drift away. Father will return the day after tomorrow, and here we find ourselves in this predicament. Martha's expression grew tense. I have yet to share the news of the accident with your father. I informed him that she had been resting in bed for a few days due to a mild cold. What happens if Dad decides to reach out to Emily himself? In the aftermath of the accident, Emily found her cell phone in ruins, a casualty of the chaos that had unfolded. Martha replied, "Besides, Dad believes Emily is occupied with night shifts, so he won't find it odd if he can't get in touch with her. So, today let's share that Dad is concerned about you as well, and then make our exit swiftly." As they drew near the entrance of the ICU, their eyes fell upon a nurse, poised and ready to assist. Our journey brings us to the doorstep of Emily Watson. The nurse glanced at the chart, her brow furrowing in a hint of bewilderment. "Mrs. Watson, kindly proceed this way." Martha and Kate trailed behind the nurse, oblivious to any underlying tension. The heavy air of the ICU surrounded them, thick with unspoken emotions. In various corners, loved ones gathered, offering prayers, words of support, and at times, shedding tears beside the patients they cherished. Yet, their expressions betrayed no hint of such feelings. The nurse paused beside a bed positioned near the window. As the curtain drew back, Martha inhaled sharply at the breathtaking view before her. The bed lay vacant, a silent witness to the absence that lingered in the air. The sheets lay perfectly arranged, and the forest stand along with the heart monitor had been taken away. Emily had vanished from sight. "Has she been moved to another location?" Martha inquired of the nurse. Her voice held a deeper sense of dissatisfaction than astonishment. The nurse replied with a serene demeanor, "No, she has been discharged." "Released?" With a burst of enthusiasm, Kate exclaimed, "Wasn't she in a dire state?" The nurse explained that Ms. Watson's recovery was nothing short of remarkable. After enduring a perilous period, her unwavering determination and strength ultimately led to her being granted permission to depart last night. But where had she vanished to? Martha inquired, her voice laced with confusion. "She has yet to return home. I apologize, but I'm unable to discuss matters concerning the patient's privacy," the nurse replied with a courteous demeanor. Martha's irritation was palpable, unable to be concealed. "I am her mother. I deserve to be informed." "Oh, Mom. Look at that," Kate exclaimed, gesturing towards the bed. A presence lingers in the air. At the heart of the bed rested a pristine white envelope. On the surface, the words "for Martha Watson" were inscribed with meticulous care. Martha swiftly grasped the envelope and extracted a sheet of memo paper. As her gaze lingered on the words, a pallor swept across her features. "Mother? What seems to be the issue?" Kate sensed a disquieting shift in her mother's demeanor. Martha felt a quiver in her hands. She settled onto the edge of the bed, her voice trembling as she began to read. For Martha, as you find yourself here, it's clear that you have arrived at the hospital at last. 8 days have passed since the accident occurred. After my night shift, I found myself in a harrowing accident at an intersection, a moment where I came perilously close to losing my life. Even when the doctor declared, "Tonight is critical," you responded, "I'm walking my sister's dog, so I can't come." Martha's voice trembled. Kate settled beside her, casting a curious glance at the memo. "During the time I lay in darkness, your presence graced me but a single time. On that particular visit, you whispered, 'Keep this from your father.' What is the reason behind this? Why didn't you share that with Dad?" Kate gazed at her mother. "This is Mom." Martha pressed on with her reading, her lip caught between her teeth. I found myself pondering the reasons behind Dad's silence. He would undoubtedly feel a sense of concern. In that moment, the truth unveiled itself to me. He remained unaware of the truth. Martha's complexion drained of color, and her hands trembled with increasing intensity. Yet, that was merely the beginning of a much larger story. As I slowly emerged from the depths of unconsciousness, I urged Jennifer to reach out to my father's company. Then an unexpected revelation emerged. Dad found himself not in Europe, but rather in Asia. What he conveyed to you was a journey for 3 weeks, not an expedition lasting 3 months. Kate inhaled sharply. "Mom, can you explain what this means?" Martha's expression twisted in terror, and she ceased her reading. "Continue reading." Kate retrieved the note from her mother. Thus, I delved deeper into the matter. "The tale you spun about your father's 3-month business trip was nothing but a fabrication. What could possibly lead you to weave such a falsehood?" "The answer has been discovered. After misplacing my cell phone, I decided to use the house phone and made my way back home quietly last night. Suddenly, your voice drifted in from the living room. A conversation unfolds between you and a man." Martha concealed her face, her body trembling as she succumbed to tears. "Thomas is set to be away for a duration of 3 weeks. Continue, please." "I'm all ears." As I gently cracked the living room door, a scene unfolded before my eyes. You and Joseph Baker, your beloved companion. Kate distanced herself from her mother, absorbing the memo with a sense of disbelief. What transpired next was a conversation that left everyone in disbelief. It is imperative that we maintain the confidentiality surrounding the fact that Kate is not his daughter. "DNA is an unwavering truth," you remarked. As Kate's fingers relaxed, the paper fell away, drifting from her grasp. She gazed at her mother, disbelief etched across her face. "Mother, is this accurate?" Martha reached out for her daughter's hand, tears streaming down her face, but Kate recoiled, distancing herself. "My father is not." "Father?" Kate's voice quivered with emotion. Martha found herself at a loss for words. She grasped the memo and absorbed its contents until the very last word. "I collected every piece of evidence. Audio files capturing your discussions, duplicates of the correspondence exchanged with Joseph, and the results of Kate's DNA analysis. This morning, I dispatched all of these to Dad via international mail. He deserves to uncover the reality. Farewell, Martha. A message from your daughter, Emily." As soon as Martha completed the memo, her cell phone began to ring. The screen illuminated with the name, Thomas. Martha attempted to respond, her hands shaking, but the ringing ceased abruptly. The hour had grown too late. Emily had unveiled the complete truth. What course of action should I take? Martha fell onto the bed, her body surrendering to the softness beneath her. Thomas possesses an extensive wealth of knowledge. Kate lingered by the window, distanced from her mother. In the span of just 8 days, everything she knew had shattered into pieces. On the 34th floor of the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Hong Kong, Thomas Watson stood by the window, his eyes fixed on the lively cityscape illuminated by the night. The transformation of the Asian branch unfolded with an ease that surpassed all anticipations, and he was poised to complete the task well before the originally projected 3-week timeline. He intended to make his way back to Boston on the flight scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. A sudden knock echoed through the room, prompting Thomas to pivot and face the door. "Step inside." The hotel concierge made his entrance. "A package has arrived for you, Mr. Watson. It is mail that crosses international borders." "Thank you." Thomas received the brown envelope. Once the concierge departed, Thomas scrutinized the envelope. The envelope bore a postmark from Boston, and the name of the sender was Emily. He beamed at the surprise correspondence from his daughter. He believed it to be a considerate act characteristic of Emily. Yet, as he peeled back the seal of the envelope, what lay within surpassed anything he could have ever envisioned. A USB memory stick, a collection of photos, and a heartfelt letter from Emily. He began to reveal the contents of the letter. "To my beloved father." Emily's careful handwriting leaped into his vision. "As you peruse this letter, a profound surprise is undoubtedly in store for you. Yet it is your entitlement to uncover the reality. Last week, I found myself caught in a traffic accident. In a harrowing moment, I found myself caught in a devastating collision with a massive truck, teetering on the brink of life and death." Thomas's face lost all color. He settled into a chair. "It seems that Mother chose not to share the details of my accident with you, and instead mentioned that Emily is resting in bed due to a cold." Despite the doctor's urgent warning that the night was critical, Mother remained resolute in her decision not to come to the hospital. Thomas felt a tremor in his hands. The content was astonishing. "As I slowly came to, a question lingered in my mind. Why had you not reached out to me? During my inquiry, I discovered that Mother had informed you about a business trip lasting 3 months. What could have compelled her to weave such a falsehood? And, in a twist of fate, I uncovered the truth." Thomas pressed on, his eyes scanning the words of the letter. Emily stumbled upon a revelation that shattered her perception of her family, her mother's infidelity revealed in the confines of their home. The ensuing discussion about Kate's biological father unraveled the very fabric of her parents' marriage, leaving everything in disarray. The truth lies within the USB. Audio captures of dialogues between Mother and Joseph Baker, their correspondence via email, and the results of Kate's DNA analysis. With a deliberate motion, Thomas slid the USB into the port of his laptop, ready to unlock the secrets it held. In that moment, it became clear that Emily's words held truth. The evidence lay meticulously organized before them. In the captured exchanges, Martha and Joseph shared a close dialogue, orchestrating their meeting while Thomas was away. The email history chronicled their relationship, a journey that unfolded over the course of 20 years. At last, he unveiled the PDF of the DNA test report. Amidst the scientific jargon, the phrase, 0% probability of paternity, caught his attention. Thomas approached the window once more, his eyes drawn to the enchanting scene of the night unfolding before him. Yet, what met his gaze was not the dazzling allure of Hong Kong, but the disintegration of 28 years spent in the bonds of marriage. Emily stood at the edge of the world, her thoughts swirling like leaves in the autumn breeze. He softly whispered the name of his daughter. The name of his sole, true daughter. The bustling hub of Boston Logan International Airport. Thomas stepped out of the terminal, his face reflecting the weariness of his journey. The grueling 20-hour flight had drained him, sapping both his physical energy and his mental resilience. Yet what filled his heart was not weariness, but a fierce blend of anger and unwavering resolve. Summoning a taxi, he set off towards Central Hospital. At the reception, he learned that his daughter had already left the hospital. Released? Yet, wasn't she gravely hurt? Thomas found himself in a state of bewilderment. The nurse recounted the extraordinary journey of Ms. Watson's recovery. Her colleague, Jennifer Foster, expressed her willingness to provide care for her at home, and the doctor granted approval for this arrangement. Thomas let out a breath, feeling the weight lift from his shoulders. At least his daughter found herself in a secure haven. He inquired about Jennifer's contact details, contemplating a visit in the near future. Afterward, he hailed a taxi that whisked him away to his residence. As the car glided into the serene lane of the affluent neighborhood, a surge of adrenaline quickened his heartbeat. The house he had called home for more than 2 decades now seemed like a strange and distant realm. As he turned the knob and pushed the front door open, a hush enveloped him, and he stepped softly into the house. Sounds drifted into his awareness from the living room. Martha and Kate appeared to be engrossed in a task together. Thomas stood at the edge of the world, contemplating the journey ahead. Martha gasped in astonishment at the sight of him. "It was unexpected to see you here before the day was meant to unfold." Work concluded ahead of schedule, Thomas remarked with a chill in his voice. His gaze fell upon the suitcases and boxes strewn across the living room, each one telling a story of its own. "Getting ready for a move?" Martha's expression tightened. "Thomas, I was unable to take your call. Allow me to elaborate. Could you provide clarification?" Thomas's voice carried a soft strength, resonating with a sense of honor. "Could you shed light on 2 decades of deception?" In the dimly lit corner of the room, Kate remained still, her presence almost ethereal. Her eyes bore the marks of sorrow, red and swollen as though tears had flowed freely. "Where is Emily gone?" Thomas inquired. "I'm not sure. She chose to leave on her own." Martha hesitated. "All alone?" Thomas's voice grew louder. "How can you make such a statement after leaving your daughter in a time of need when she was gravely hurt?" "Thomas, you failed to grasp the situation. Circumstances surrounded me." "Enough." Thomas lifted his hand. "Emily shared it all with me. I witnessed the proof. Concerning you, Joseph Baker, and the matter of Kate's father." Kate let out a soft sniffle, her emotions barely contained. "I was completely unaware." "Father. Well, Mr. Thomas." Thomas cast a fleeting glance in her direction. His eyes reflected a deep sorrow instead of rage. "Kate, you bear no blame for this. You share in the experience of being wronged." Martha sank into the embrace of the sofa. "Thomas, I beg for your forgiveness." "Excuse me?" Thomas cast a disdainful glance. "After misleading me for more than 2 decades? After having me raise Kate, fully aware that she wasn't my child? And the most painful part is that when Emily, my one true daughter, was on the brink of death from an accident, you chose to leave her behind." Martha found herself at a loss for words. She wept quietly. "I want an explanation," Thomas said, folding his arms. "What was the reason for concealing Emily's accident? What kept you from sharing this with me?" Martha replied, her voice quivering, "For if you returned, I would find myself unable to see Joseph." Thomas found himself at a loss for words in response to that brutally candid reply. He lowered his gaze and murmured, "Emily was my only daughter. Indeed, that is the reality." With a deliberate motion, he unlatched his briefcase and revealed the contents within, extracting the documents one by one. This document outlines the terms of the divorce agreement. "I have taken the step of reaching out to a lawyer. All matters, including claims for compensation, will unfold as outlined in this document. By tomorrow, I expect you both to leave this house." "But where shall our journey take us?" Martha pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "That is your issue," Thomas remarked with a chill in his voice. "The moment has arrived to confront the consequences of 2 decades filled with deception." He ascended to his study, a sanctuary of thought and reflection. As he shut the door behind him, a wave of emotions surged forth, unrestrained and raw, breaking free for the very first time. He let out a heavy breath and sank into his chair. On the desk lay a photograph capturing a moment shared between him and Emily. It was a cherished snapshot capturing the moment she completed her journey through nursing school. He lifted the photograph, his finger gliding over the curve of Emily's smile. "Once upon a time, there was a girl named Emily. He whispered softly, "I regret that I was unable to shield you from harm." The morning light poured into the cozy confines of a small Boston flat, illuminating the space with a gentle glow. In a cozy room within Jennifer Foster's apartment, Emily found herself nestled on the sofa, engrossed in the pages of a book. Her body lingered in a state of frailty, with the remnants of fading scars etched upon her face. A soft knock echoed through the quiet room, beckoning attention to the door. As Jennifer swung the door open, she found Thomas Watson waiting on the other side. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Emily. As Thomas stepped into the room, his eyes immediately found his daughter. He moved silently, lowering himself to kneel before the sofa. "Emily, I regret that I was unable to shield you from harm." With tears glistening in her eyes, Emily grasped her father's hand tightly. "Dad, is it true that you know it all?" "Indeed, all of it," Thomas affirmed with a nod. "I came across your letter along with the evidence you provided. The deceit of that family, and the absence of anyone by your side during your time of suffering from the accident." My colleagues stood by my side. Emily beamed with warmth, as if bound by the ties of kinship. After a month had passed, Emily and her father found themselves settling into a new flat. After many years of dedicated service, Thomas made the significant decision to leave his longtime company and embark on a new journey at another firm in Boston. He made the decision to work close to his daughter. "What is the status of this shelf's placement?" As Thomas ascended to the wall of the new living room, he inquired about the bookshelf he was about to mount. "Perfect," Emily smiled at her dad. Each passing day brought signs of her improvement. As the clock struck dinner time, Emily found her colleagues making their way to her with increasing regularity. With open arms, they embraced Emily and her father, cultivating connections that felt akin to a fresh family. At one dinner, Thomas expressed his gratitude to Jennifer and the others for saving his daughter. "You showed us the true essence of family." The consequences for Martha and Kate unfolded just as they had envisioned. Upon the revelation of Joseph's affair with Martha, his wife uncovered the truth, leading him to forsake Martha and vanish without a trace. In a time of financial struggle, Martha found herself navigating the world of fashion, taking on a part-time role at a high-end boutique to make ends meet. With the DNA test report clutched tightly in her hand, Kate embarked on a quest to uncover the identity of her biological father. Yet Joseph turned away from her, his demeanor icy as he dismissed her with a sharp, "Don't bring up past mistakes." In a whirlwind of accusations, the bond between mother and daughter frayed, leading them down a path of estrangement. On Christmas night, Emily's new flat glowed with a cozy warmth. Thomas and his daughter, accompanied by her hospital colleagues, gathered around the table, sharing laughter and engaging in lively conversation. A letter found its way into the mailbox. Martha was the one who sent it. "Will you not open it?" Thomas inquired. With a decisive shake of her head, Emily cast the unopened letter into the trash bin, a silent act of rejection. "The past has come to a close. A new future awaits us. Here's to you." With a graceful motion, Jennifer lifted her glass high. "To true family." In a moment of unity, each member of the family raised their glasses, the sound of clinking resonating through the air. As Emily gazed out at the vast expanse of the starry sky beyond the window, a sense of wonder enveloped her. Her vengeance was fulfilled. She resolved to free her heart from the grip of hatred. What lingered was a flicker of hope for a fresh start. "Family isn't solely defined by blood connections," Emily remarked softly. "A genuine family is forged through the love and care shared among its members." Thomas wrapped his arm around his daughter's shoulder and gave a reassuring nod. From this point onwards, their tale would unfold.